Greetings, brothers and sisters from the four corners of the world. I hope everyone is having a blessed evening, day, afternoon in your perspective lands. All right, all right. Um, okay. In Kamala, we trust part three. This one will be a bit short. I'm going to go back over Revelations 18 again and then jump into Revelation 17. All right. So, um, just for a little rundown, brothers and sisters, we we really touched on the meaning and understanding of Kamala's name. Okay, what type of spirit she will bring, all right, to the world. I mean, it's already brought portion of it, but as you've seen in the videos, she said she wanted power, right? She wanted power. So obviously, uh, someone like that is not going to show who they truly are they um, until they get that power they want, right? So, all right, here we go, brothers and sisters. Revelations 18, verse 1 reads, After these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And we saw that when I think that was Chris Cuomo from the American CNN, where he said, "In this game, you have to pay to play," and all those high rollers at the top of her speech, also the Republican speech as well. He stated so. Um, that is who the Most High is talking about: the merchants, the people we never see, people we don't even know, right? Um, They have waxed rich off of her delicacies. And the emphasis of part two was, And I heard another voice come from heaven, saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues. And a lot of people I see didn't really care for the lesson. Hey, opinions, steer people right into the fire. I've never seen an opinion get someone into the kingdom. In fact, you've never even read that opinions get anyone into the kingdom. So, um, for those who may not believe or may think it's differently, do your searching. Um, do your searching, and really just make sure that you put everything to the scripture. So, Babylon must be a habitation of devils, every foul demon that's you know possible, okay? A place that sins when they sleep, all right? And so forth and so forth. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Remember her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double, according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. And this is funny because as as great as people in America thought America was, if you're looking from the outside in, it looks really bad. It's kind of like saying, yeah, that used to be America. What happened? You know? Um, and they've always said, oh, we're a country that will never go to war. This is the greatest country on earth. This is God's country, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And now look. And like I said, looking from the outside in, oof, looks bad. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. And remember, I went over this a while back. That one day doesn't necessarily mean day. It can mean a year, it can mean a time, it can mean a season, it can mean years. Okay, just a period. And obviously, that's just not one day. Okay, because you see, America, Babylon, consistently being hit in every part of its infrastructure and its foundation with what? Those plagues, okay? Those plagues of judgment, the Most High said. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day: death, mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. So the Most High is not happy with this nation. The kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So, obviously, an attack, right? And we also know Jeremiah talks about the invasion at the wall, which I also did a lesson on that as well. Standing afar off for the fear of torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all Thyian wood and all manner vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. And really, I'm hearing that that's a common thing in the United States where things, what it used to be, is no longer. Right? The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company in the ships, and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke, and of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust unto their heads, and cried and weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness. Notice that everything in the United States is more expensive than anywhere else, right? You can, for example, if you don't know, um, you can get like I want to say the average price of a vehicle, like an SUV in the United States, is somewhere between 35 to 40,000. You go to UAE, you go to Ethiopia, you go to Iraq, you go to Iran. It costs you 16 grand to buy a 2025 vehicle SUV, right? Everything is overcharged in America. But anywho, for in 1 hour she is made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. And so the Most High said his judgment, his revenge for the apostles and prophets would be on this one nation. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So notice that there has to be something catastrophic through violence that has to happen for Babylon to be thrown down. Okay, for Babylon to be thrown down. Okay, and you see, to throw, cast out, meaning to strike. Okay, throw down, thrust. This is balo. And you can also look here to fling. All right. Scatter abroad, disperse. It's gonna be wild. Huh? The reason it would say disperse or scatter because if things happen, and I've always said this to people, I said, look, you know how the Americans will say, oh, people go back to Mexico, and when it hits the fan, they'll be running right into Mexico, right? So they're gonna end up scattering for tragedy and disaster. And the voice of harpers, musicians, and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of the milestone and the millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And a lot of people really want to argue about it not being America, but who where do people come to get famous? Where do people become musicians, working with instruments, right? Trumpeters, all types of musicians, right? Think about this. This is America. That's America. That can't be Rome. That can't be Europe. Yes, Europeans have music, but no one really listens. And I'm referring to the global scale. Okay, on a global scale. There is no more influence. No one is more influential than American music, American society, right? And instead of its influence being used for good, they use it for destruction. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and thy voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. So only the Most High knows the number of sorceries that happen. Sorceries like taxes. The only way they're able to do certain things is through people paying taxes in some way. Or the only way they're able to do something is to give people a liquor store every 3 and 4 miles, right? Or a fast food place every 10 miles away from each other. The only way they're able to do what they do is to deceive people by trickery. They'll sit you there and show you something on a television and you get in the store and it won't look nothing like what you saw. But you done wasted your money to go from A to B, so you're like, I might as well get it now. That's deceiving by sorcery. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and saints and all that were slain upon the earth. Now, it's easy to know that yes, in her was all that the Most High was holding America to the judgment of all the slain upon the earth, and that's because of war. Okay, that's because of war. Now, check this out. You want to know how serious knowledge is? People kill for knowledge. You want to know why? CIA. They will put secret agents and operatives in other countries just for knowledge. Right? FBI, all they tap phone calls and they send people to your homes and to locations to your job just for knowledge. That's why I say knowledge is power. Knowledge is deadly. It can ruin things and it can also uplift things, right? So yes, when you put in, you have special forces, you have, government operatives and different things of this nature. They go into these countries, they act normally with other people, even they listen to biblical lessons called informants and try and, hey, 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 they study. You see, and they cause these are. I'm sorry, but you see, kind of Americans and Europeans are kind of the same, right? You know why? Because they didn't care about immigration and other people until they were on their doorstep. They only cared about themselves. And it goes to show you how deceived they were because when people, if you would have said 10 years ago that they would give immigrants free homes and $15,000, EBT balances, that's electronic uh, balances for food and stuff like that for my overseas folks who are outside of Babylon, obviously. If you would have said they would have gave them zero down on a house, 30,000 on a house, if they said they didn't have to work for the next 5 years and they're getting $2,000 in free food and they're getting a free five-star hotel to live in, you would have looked at me crazy. And now look. Now, isn't it kind of ironic where the nations that America has really been to war with or had some involvement in their politics and government in another country, where all their people are now coming back to their country? India, Afghanistan, Venezuela, Cuba, Taiwan. I mean, everyone is going to the United States because of, what the Most High said. Said he was going to gather the people to go there. It wasn't a good thing either. So when you sit there and say, okay, they've slain people. Now, in the sense of prophets and saints, let's check this out. In her was found the blood. We're going to do a little searching here. Okay. In her was found to find, get, obtain. Obtain. All right. So obviously the prophets and the apostles weren't alive to know America. Only through what? Only through prophecy, right? Found the blood. Okay. Now, look what it says, the atoning blood of Christ. Implication, bloodshed, also kindred. And we know the word kindred to be what? Relation and by birth. So it means in her was found the blood of those who were related to the prophets and the saints. So that America kills people of the lineage of the prophets and saints. Hmm. So that's why the Most High is holding them accountable. You lie about history, and then you understand history, and therefore you kill the people of the history. Now, with that being said, you have America. It is, we can say it is the newest country in the world. Henceforth, people called it the New World, right? It's the newest country in the world, but it's the only country with well, thousands and hundreds of thousands of religions that claim to be of some importance when this is the newest part of the world. Anyone paying attention? Okay, follow me here. Before, all right, and we'll go with a few narratives, right? Before people so called, talked about or knew about America and the Americas, I should say, that's North, Central, and South, it was all based on Africa, Europe, Russia, okay, Saudi, Persia, right? And Persia made up Afghanistan and Pakistan to some extent, okay, and that region, China, right? Now, imagine being in the world, follow me here, if the United States was so called created in 1776, that gives us 200 and almost 48 years, somewhere around there, right? Or 38 years, somewhere around there. That gives us 200 years from this date to now that the U.S. was only known of by law, supposedly, by the Declaration of Independence and all that stuff. Now, obviously, we know you look at it, you can go into places. I know this because I used to live in Virginia, and that's in like kind of like the Mason Dixie line or, the South. Some people debate it, but it's here and there. But it's considered the South in some sense. And you have all different kind of monuments saying that people were there even before the 1700s, the 1600s, the 1500s. Same thing in the other parts of um, the U.S., like Georgia, South Carolina, okay, Mississippi, right? So this is a new part of the world that people didn't really focus on. So how can you say that these religions are from the Most High? Uh, Once we sit there and think about it, you say, wait a second, okay, and how about this narrative, right? Let's say that there was a slavery, okay, and the slavery came from Africa, Okay, let's just go with this false narrative, right? What what were the people doing before in Africa? Right? What was their religion before? I mean, don't sit there and say they was all doing voodoo and because no, everyone wasn't doing voodoo. Voodoo is also it's a fairly new practice. I mean, it's been there, and voodoo is not even the real name for it, but you know, that's just kind of like a French term for it, but that's here and there. But what was going on before? We understand that the Crusades and the Catholic Church was fighting the Arabic nations and the Caliphate. And those two nations, those two identities were fighting for years. So, where do you get Jehovah Witness? Where do you get Baptists? Where do you get Pentecostal? Where do you get Mormons? Where do you get non-denominational? All these things are sorceries that have deceived nations. And why do I say this is a part of their sorcery? Because they will go out and send missionaries to other countries. And they're sitting there, and if you really sit there and think about it, wait, you're the last place on the earth. How are you telling me what religion is? We should be telling you. Doesn't it make sense? No, think about it, right? Think about it. Isn't that strange? Isn't that strange? Shouldn't we? Shouldn't we be telling you? Okay, but that's all a part of prophecy, obviously, and I will go into that in a later lesson on the war on the true promise. But that's all a part of prophecy from Psalms. The Most High said, "Make them a nation no more, make their remembrance gone." So even if you brought up the people who were before, you wouldn't want to hear it. All you would want to hear was about Israel, and anyone else would be anti Semitism. Right? Anyone else's history is irrelevant. I don't know if anyone notices that. If you have pride in talking about slavery and how people came up as a whole and started banks and had medicine and came up with creation, even if you're talking about the Amazonians or the people when the Dominicans and the Haitians were at peace together and they were working together, and then the French and the Spanish divided their islands and turned them into enemies, and that's why they fight today. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So this is why the Most High is saying, "Hey, you are deceived." And then remember what Christ said: you go out and proselytize, and then make other people what? Children of hell. Let me get that. Let's get that right. Let me share that with you. See that? It says, and we'll start from verse 12. Matthew 23 and 12. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased. In America, that's what it said in Revelations 18. They exalted themselves, right? And he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. But woe unto you, scribes, Pharisees, and hypocrites, because America is a nation of scribes, Pharisees, and hypocrites. Most countries are, that's true. But we're talking about this one, who's had power and influence over all people, right? For ye shut up the kingdom. Watch this now. So their goal is to shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For neither ye For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that entering to go in. So people who want to go in. Woe unto you, scribes, Pharisees, and hypocrites, for ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass the sea. Now watch this. Ye compass, ye go all around the sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he is made, he make him twofold more the child of hell than yourself. So you go and let's go and share with you. Proselyte, a new convert to some religion. Say what? Say that? Wait, what? A what? A proselyte. Look at that. Proselyte, one who changes from one sect to another, a convert, especially a heathen to Judaism and biblical writings. Convert, a stranger, one who has come over. Proselytize, converting someone to their religion. Converting someone to their religion. And who do they send? You got it. They send missionaries. They send missionaries. They send missionaries, right? And these people were not sent on a mission from the Most High. They were sent on a mission to what? Create children of hell. So this is what the Most High is referring to. Hey, they've deceived many. They've deceived many through their politics, their ideology, their doctrines of religion. And in her was found the blood of the prophets, meaning those who are related, and the saints, and all that were slain upon the earth. Now I've seen, for example, why is it okay? And I don't support evil. I want that to be known. I support the Bible, I support righteousness, I support the Most High and anything He says. Why is it that in America, when people say, oh, you bombed us or you did this to us, they have the nerve to get defensive? It's kind of like you defending governments dropping bombs on people, right? Oh, your country did this to me. Well, if one person says it, I don't know. Two people say, I don't know. If five people say, okay, maybe you're starting to scratch my ear. If 100 and thousands of people keep saying it, if you see nations like Vietnam and you cross them all with Agent Orange or Somalia, you keep dropping bombs on people and no one has ever tried to come over to your land. What was the point? I heard someone say the United States is the only country where they feel that every other country's business is their national security. Right? You think it's in the best interest to look at someone else. It's a country of scribes, Pharisees, and hypocrites. And yes, my brothers and sisters who may be American or who are born there, I'm referring to, you understand that this is wrong because you would say take care of the people in your home rather than others, right? But I want people to understand this, and this is for this is in a nice way, I should say this. The Most High, this is a part of what's happening over there in the U.S. This is a part of the Most High's recompense. For years, people have been saying of the what people would call the minority community, that's the blacks and the Hispanics and the natives and the Hawaiians and so forth and so forth. For years, people have been saying they can't get X, Y, and Z, right? They can't get certain things. And now, notice how they're quiet or a lot less quiet than those who have just experiencing it with the migrants, right? So the Most High said, you weren't listening to my people and they were telling you of misfair treatment. Now I'm going to show you. And now look, it doesn't feel so nice, does it? It doesn't feel so nice when someone comes into your home and has all the benefits that you should have. It doesn't feel so nice to work for someone else to live for free because technically that's what slavery was called, right? Where someone else works and and you're working and someone else is sleeping and living for free and living good, right? It doesn't feel so good, doesn't it? But you see, in the politics of the United States, what happens is they want to say it's woke education or it's they ban certain things. And both sides, the Republican side and the Democratic side, all those sides, they're all wrong. They're all wrong, and they all are complicit in the evil of hurting the Most High's people. This is true. Now, many of you may say, man, you've never really spoke so much on the children of Israel because I never wanted to make a ministry based on my own people. I wanted to make a ministry on what Christ said about reaching the four corners of the world, whether you're a Jew or Gentile. So that's the point. The kingdom will be filled with Jews and Gentiles, correct? But when we reach the scriptures of importance and of value, this is the truth, and I've always known this truth. I've always known this truth. And you sit there and you think that they want to say, oh, and my belief is this: most of these organizations are informants anyway. Okay, this is true. This is true. You have, because from Black Lives Matter, it came absolutely nothing, but only for the alphabet community. It didn't come for putting meals in schools, right? It didn't come for putting clothes and giving clothing vouchers or school need vouchers. It didn't advocate for putting better books and uh, school materials in the inner cities. Right? It didn't do any of those things. So it's an informant group. It's a group to give false hope. Right? Now, we understand also that the Most High said they have deceived nations. They have deceived nations. Okay. Just like those numbers where they say, oh, black men are the lowest in the present, their numbers are the highest among being non-present in their children's lives. You're in the Middle East with me. And Europe, on Al Jazeera, it says black men are 76 times more likely to be with their children and their wives than any other race. You see, they're lying to people. And when you lie to people, people go outside and they go to stores with this perception. They hire people based on the perception. They look at people, they lock their doors, they make friends, they have conversations based on what they see and what they hear, you see? And so this is sorcery. This is this is this is an evil. Now, obviously, we look up this word sorcery, and it would go to medicine, and that's a part of you see that word pharmacy. That's a part of it as well. But there's other things as well, brothers and sisters, than pharmacy and pharmaceuticals that just deceives people. Okay, Hollywood, your music entertainment, right? The voice of the Harpers. Okay, and then being called a nation of dreamers, right? You have to dream to believe. But I will tell you, brothers and sisters, for those of you over there, you'd have to understand that the Most High is going to make a way for you if you are doing all that He asks you to do and working with faith. Okay, Revelation 17. And we're gonna touch something real important here. And there came one of the seven angels. And yes, I'm reading backwards. And I want you to remember seven angels, which had seven vials, and talk with me, saying, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore. What? I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Now, let's look at this. Okay, great, great, big, okay, mighty. Now, greatest and very great. You see it now. You see it now, right? You see it. Greatest. What is the greatest nation in the world? America, right? What is this called? Megos. Sound like MAGA, don't it? Wake up. And we already know mega, MAGA, okay, is witchcraft. Same thing. Let's see if we have it in here. Okay, mega, okay, large, great, megaton, megawatt. Let's see. I found it somewhere once before. I forget me because I can't remember where it was. MAGA. Okay. Let's see if we have it in here. They're just cutting things here at this point. So let me try and see it here and then I'll move forward. Yeah. You'd have to look in the ancient, by the way, because mag or magi, right? And you see Simon Magnus, Mag, Magi, Maga always refers to a sorcerer. Okay. It always referred to a sorcerer. All right. All right, moving forward. So, I will show unto thee the great whore. Now, let's look up that word, whore. And some people may say, I don't really want you to go into that word. It makes me. Now, look at this: a strumpet, an idolater, a harlot, a whore. and it says porne, like pornography, porn, right? What nation is number one for pornography? United States. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. But hey, anyway, let's go over this word strumpet, right? What is a strumpet? A strumpet is a harlot, a prostitute, a concubine, bold, lascivious woman. Okay. Have illicit sexual relations with. Dishonor, violation. So someone, woman, a person who's in violation, who's dishonored. Okay. That's pretty bad. And if you want to just look at this word violation, the United States is always in violation with how the rest of the world is, right? Just saying. People don't know how to act, they don't know how to behave. They think the American way works in every other country, right? It's kind of it's kind of sick-minded in a sense, right? Now, let's look up harlot. Oh boy, this has many meanings. And harlot isn't what you think. So, harlot is a vagabond, a man of no fixed occupation. Hmm. A tramp, a vagrant, a rascal. That's a harlot. Now, I want you to look here and see applied in Middle English to jesters, buffoons, jugglers, later to actors. Actors, that's right, actors are harlots. You notice how all the actors and actresses, all those in Hollywood, they couldn't keep a marriage or a relationship to save their lives. Look at Jennifer Lopez. She's been married more times than the number of people in your family. Right? Like, what? How was that even possible? And that's not just for her, that's for all of them. And wasn't Megan wasn't there Megan Good or Megan I think it was Megan Good, right? Wasn't she married to the pastor and then says she just wanna be free and then go and marry the other man or you had to think and someone would have to think to that minister, like you're kind of like, you know, and I hate to say it, but you're kind of tithering the line of like a scribe and a Pharisee because at what part does the Bible and the gospel actually dictate your life and what part does not? Because as a minister, I would never tell my family, my children, my wife to go and, hey, go and apply to work in the movies, right? Obviously, that would contradict God's will, right? It's kind of weird. But anywho, it says prostitute then unchaste women, all right? Strumpet, a whore, okay? And then it says in Germanic, a camp follower. Now this gets really interesting. A camp follower. So following, being a follower of someone's what? Being a follower in someone's camp. Hmm. Wouldn't that almost mean, look what it says, camp, establish. So wouldn't that mean to be a follower of someone's establishment? So now it's not just militaries, brothers and sisters. It says the judgment of that a great whore that sitteth upon many waters, and this is not just military bases. This is religions too. camp followers. That means a religious. Look at camp follower, one who follows an army without being officially connected to it, such as sutlers, washerwomen. Camp meeting is a religious meeting for prayer. That means following their ideology of religion. It's trash. All of it. Every drop of it. Every drop of it. No, and this is some people will use this and say, oh, see, religion is not proper. No, I never said religion is not proper. I said anything that comes from there as far as being an authoritative religion is improper. Let's backtrack the world, shall we? Because the Big Bang wasn't real until the United States, right? So this part of the world and in the United States, this United States doesn't believe in God. That's why they said the freedom. And they said, okay, we're going to devise up this plan, and all people are going to hear is freedom. They're not going to recognize until it hits them freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom and freedom and freedom, right? All they're going to hear is the word freedom. I got the freedom to teach your children whatever I want. I got the freedom to put on the internet whatever I want. I got the freedom to put on television whatever I want. I got the freedom to make the rules to whoever I want to teach. I got the freedom I have to, gentrify certain areas and keep certain people out of housing. I got the hmm. So these these foundations, these establishments of religion is what it's referring to. And frankly, I can't wait because being in the Middle East, being in the Africa, Middle East region, even being, had been in Korea and different places in that region, you're kind of tired of seeing that American doctrine go everywhere because that's what people want to hear. It's kind of sickening where people can't sit and think for themselves and actually read. It's strange, right? Because the only time people read is to get a degree in school. The only time, and can you imagine on the day of judgment, Christ saying, I saw you in the store taking about an hour reading those ingredient labels, but you can't spend an hour reading my text. You can't spend an hour reading the scriptures. I saw you doing your research on the food, on exercise and what exercises you should do, but I didn't see you spend an hour for the Most High. I saw you were particular in how and the food you bought, but did you buy any food for the homeless? I see before winter came, you were buying winter clothes in the summertime, getting those sales. Did you ever get a jacket for the homeless people? Just for one? So I'm going to sit there and say America and Europe, because of Rome and the Constantine and the Crusaders and the Knights Templar and all these wicked beings, right? They're the reason no one respects Christ in the world. I want you to really catch what I said. They're the reason No one respects Christ in the world except for us, the very few. Because here once again, I told you from the Revelations 18, when you lie about something, people get a perception, and then they carry that perception as the truth. And then they start thinking that, hey, Christ is soft like you. Christ must be a hypocrite because look at you. You claim to be a Christian. You claim to be a follower of Christ, but you're not doing a thing he said. And this is all of those Christian churches in America. Have mercy. Have mercy. And I'm quite sure in Europe too. And I seen some in Africa. Africa ain't exempt either. Okay, but those things came from the indoctrination, right? Imagine, right? What- Imagine prosperity preachers in Africa. People would look at you like you're stupid, right? Think about it. So what do they do? Those fake pastors in Africa, what they do is they try and deceive through healing because they know people are sick and they need healing. In Babylon, in America, the prosperity doctrine is key because it's a nation ran on status and finance. You are as only you are only good as the worth of your bank account in America. This is true. You're only valued for the credit score that you have. You can't you can have $10,000 saved up, and if your credit score stinks, you can't get a thing in the United States. Kind of crazy, right? Kind of unfair, right? But this is what the Most High is referring to. Sitteth upon many, many waters. Not just militaries, but religions as well. With whom, verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Because they're all in on it. What was that, Psalms 83? They're all in on this. Not everyone, but most of them. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay. And you can see it clearly says a woman. Yes? All right. Well, I'm just sharing with y'all. Okay. Full of names. Swell. Full. Okay. Let's bringing this down for y'all. Full of names. Now, look what it says. Names of blasphemy. Now, I want you all to think of this now. This is where I've taught you all before. Throw the opinions out. This is scripture. You need to dive into this word as if you were a newborn baby. And that would mean if you think you know what a word means, you have no idea. Okay, until you look it up. Now, look at these things now. The names, right? Full of names. full of names. Let's do it again now. Full of names. Now look at this. Authority and character. Surname. Sounds weird here. A surname? Wait. Look what it says. To gratify, to derive pleasure or advantage from, have joy. Now wait a second. Who are their casting saying that is having who's gonna bring joy? That's right, Kamala Harris. The woman that sat on the beast full of names of blasphemy. The woman who had the names, the false names, the blasphemous names. Look what it says: Anoma, Anonemi, right? To have joy, pleasure. Okay, to have joy. No, you forgot. You forgot so quickly, brothers and sisters, huh? You you forgot so quickly, did we? No, you shouldn't have. And comma, here we go. Desire, wish, longing. Comma, comma. Okay, you remember? Kama Sutra, comma. Let's see. Come Diva. That was her name, right? No, I'm pull this up again now. Hold on now. I know you're like, oh no. Well, I want you to see this, full of names. So this person has a name that means something. Full of names, authority, character, called, surname, pleasure. What does it say there? Erotic love, desire, pleasure, to have joy, comma, is joy. This is that same person the Most High was telling you to be careful of. Now, watch this, all right? Full of names of blasphemy. What is blasphemy? It's something that's terrible, right? It's something that's terrible, right? Let's look at the word blasphemy, shall we? Blasphemous. Displaying blasphemy, irreverent to God or sacred things. To speak lightly or amiss of sacred things. To slander. To speak impiously or irreverently of God and sacred things. To blaspheme, revile, reproach. Hence, blaspheme comes also from the word blame. Wow. Let's look at the word blasphemy. Impious or profane speaking of God or sacred things. Speaking ill. Impious speech. To speak evil of. That's what blasphemy means. Utterance of evil, hurtful things. Unpleasant, stupid. For what? 3, 4 years, the world made TikToks and social medias about how this person was illiterate, and now they're beginning because it was a joke. It was a joke. Okay. Now, once you sit there and think, okay, blasphemy, blasphemy, blasphemy. Okay. You sit there and think, what blasphemy? She calls herself joy. It's the fruits of the spirit. It's joy. It's of the Holy Spirit. It's blasphemous to the Holy Spirit of the Most High. Is it not? I don't know. I don't know. Indignity offered by words or writing, reproachful, contemptuous, irreverent words. Blasphemy is an injury offered to God by denying that which is due and belonging to Him, or attributing to Him that which is not agreeable to His nature. Wait, what? Attributing to Him that which is not agreeable to His nature. So if He created man and woman in His image, and you saying that people can be X, Y, and Z, that's blasphemous to our Creator. If you telling women that they have the right over their body to kill, that's blasphemous to our Creator. He made the woman to bring about life, not to destroy it. In fact, we would sit there and think, right? Anyone who has a sense of understanding that life is good and death is bad, they have some type of sense to understand that the basic understanding of how the Most High works and the world works is that life is beautiful and death is tragic, right? So, how can you run a campaign that is completely not agreeable to the nature of how our Creator made things? This is that person, you guys. A woman arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Now, let's look at this word. Full of, to be swell, right? Abominations, detestation, detestable, extreme hatred. You see that? No, you don't see that. Detestable, detestation, extreme dislike, hatred, abhorrence, loathing. And what does it say the Most High said? In her hand, in her hand, y'all didn't get this, did you? In her hand, literally or figuratively means power. In her power is full of abominations. Her power is full of detestation, detestable things. Now, watch this. Detestation means extreme dislike or hatred, abhorrence, loath, execration, and that word for y'all. Great loathing, a curse, abominate, express abhorrence, literally denounce with one's testimony. So her goal is to make things so bad that she's going to usher in the great falling away. And we already know it's kind of begun, but she's going to light the match. She's going to light the match. Detestable, abominable, odious, very. To denounce one's testimony. That means she's going to make people hate. She's going to make people regret loving the Most High, loving Christ. Her hand is full of abominations, the fact of being hated. She's going to make people hate believers. You don't get it? She's going to make people hate believers, to be angry, to be grieved. She's going to make people enrage more. Testeri, you see this? Testeri means be a witness. D means from or down, from being a witness. This is serious, brothers and sisters. This is serious. I'm trying to tell people. My only frustration is that only few people listen. Look what abomination means. Her hand is full of abominations. Abominable thing or action, feeling or disgust, hatred. Her hand is full of hatred. Her hands are full of disgust for the Most High. Her hands are full of horror, repugnance, disgust. I told you this was the person. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, this is the person. This is the person. This is the person. And it says, filthiness of her fornication. Filthiness, impurity. And look, morally, morally, morally. Look what it says, morally lewd or specifically demonic. This person is a downright devil. This person is a darn right devil. Upon her head. Now, I want to make this very clear, brothers and sisters. It's not upon the beast that she sits on, it's upon her head. She already has power over a beast, which is a nation. It sits upon her forehead. Now, watch. Let me say something now. Forehead. The forehead as opposite of countenance. Forehead. Hmm. Hmm. Now, aren't they? Weren't they talking about what? One, right now, they're occupying an intermediate position. So the president is one, she is, right? And then it says substantially the same relations of participation, proximity, or and transfer or sequence. And who's been talking about transfer of power? This person. Hmm. Mystery Babylon. Mystery. 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 Look at the word mystery. Mystery Babylon, meaning a religious truth, a hidden, look at that, hidden spiritual significance. So it wasn't meant to be the actual one, it was meant to be a spiritual one. Henceforth, it said spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah. Secret worship. What nation start? Well, yeah, we can say Germany started like the Bavarian Illuminati and all that stuff, but who started the other secret worships of secret societies, right? Well, everyone knows the Bohemian, right? the Bohemian Grove, right? The mystery Babylon, okay, conducts secret worships in Hollywood, henceforth, Holly and wood, magicians wood to cast spells. Mystery Babylon, secret worship, secret rite or doctrine, only known by initiated people only. One who has been initiated, a mystery. Greek word in Septuagint was secret counsel of God, hidden or secret thing, a fact, a matter. Hmm, Mystery Babylon. Mystery Babylon the Great. The Great. Once again, Magus, right? Megas, Magus, it's all the same crap. Mystery Babylon. We already know. And no, look what it says. Figuratively known for tyranny. Tyranny. Now, Mystery Babylon. I don't care who in the world tells me anything else. You can't tell me. You can't convince me that America is not the land for one tyranny, cruel or unjust use of power. Didn't that woman just say that? Didn't she just say that? I could ruin your life from the swipe of a pen? That is unjust. How how are you gonna arrest people? I'm not an advocate for any form of drugs because it's sorcery. That too is sorcery. But how are you gonna arrest people for 25 years, 15 years, and then later let people make, marijuana shops? That's that's quite wild to me, right? Wouldn't you let out all those people, right? It's almost as if you America, you sell products for people to get in trouble. I mean, you have liquor stores everywhere, wine and spirits everywhere, right? You either selling things to influence someone's mind into listening to spirits, or you influence them to eat unhealthy and party and drink and have a good time and forget about their health, right? Tyrant, an absolute ruler. This person then said, I could ruin your life with the swipe of a pen. That's, look what the word came from, mistress and lady, a tyrant. I don't make this up. But anywho, no one could convince me that this was not it. That's one. Now it says Babel. We know the Tower of Babel known for confusion. Confusion? What is confusion? Obviously, it's overthrown ruining, disorder, confusion, shame. You go on from two genders to 26? What is that not confusion? Is that not confusion? And then you have the nerve to say, "Oh, I feel like I was created in the wrong body." You know, I know I should be a woman, but I'm gonna be a man. You know, or yeah, God put me as a man, but I just know I'm supposed to be a woman. What? What? Are those people not confused over there? They confused. They confused. And you see, this word mingle is a very strong but necessary word to understand, my brothers and sisters. Mingle. So how does one get like this? They blend it. It's a combination. They bring something and something else together. So this was a cooker, okay? What you thought Obama was going to do, this person will do. What other people thought Trump would do, and now he's working, but in the Middle East, I know this for sure. But this person, whew, dangerous, dangerous. And at this point, I'm not necessarily just trying to warn you here. I'm just telling you, hey, if you're there, prepare yourself. And from what I've heard, I just heard something today. Someone shared with me that they're saying that uh, in the White House over there that they're looking to get Joe Biden to step down in October so this person can be the president indefinitely. Ooh wee, ooh wee. Okay, now that's Babylon, right? Confusion. You can't tell me them people are confused, and their whole being is confused. You don't know who's who. You don't know what's what. You got people going in the bathrooms and other places and places they ain't supposed to be. You got them taking precious time out of children's education to have the drag hour. Is that not confusion? If that's what parents is into, let them be into that outside of whatever they do. But to bring it into a school, bring it into a public space, invite those individuals to your home if you feel so good about it, right? Invite them to your home. Have a big circus. Put on a clown nose. Juggle some balls if you like. What you doing? Okay, Babylon the Great, the mother, the mother, the mother. Okay, the mother. Hmm. Now over there they say you can't even say mother. You have to say parent or birthing person or something. What are y'all doing? What is happening? Now, I can't remember where it was because this was a lot we went into. But this this goddess here that dealt with karma, was attached to a mother, by the way. I can't remember where I saw it. Obviously, we really went into it, but no, that's the magic show. Oh man, look, this was the mother. Trust me when I say it. I mean, you can look it up, okay? But this was the mother, right? This was the mother. I can't remember where I saw it, okay? But this was the spirit of a mother. Devi refers to mother goddess in Hinduism. There you go. Okay, now watch this. Devi, Mata, is mother goddess, or is Diva is short for Divata, and Devi for Divika. Okay, I want you to know she got what? She got what? She's full of names of blasphemy. She's full of names of blasphemy. She's full of names of blasphemy. And Devi means power, by the way, but it always goes back to Mother Goddess. Mother Goddess. Okay. And what is Kamala's real name? Let's let's look it up. Kamala Devi Harris. Right there. And it said her original middle name was Liar. Liar. By her parents, who 2 weeks later filed an affidavit by which her middle name was changed to Devi, the lying goddess, the lying mother of the the mother of the lying goddess mother, or whatever you want. Either way, the demon is a liar and thinks she's hot stuff. She is a mother of harlots. Okay, I mean, the Ministry of Social Equality of Israel, we just found out, was a porn star. And then Harris was on the hip of Montel Williams years ago and jumping around in Hollywood. I mean, good grief. I mean, what's going on here? What's going on here? And how did you? So, I mean, someone's got to ask, how did you just come across celebrity? An immigrant child, a child of an immigrant. How did you just come across celebrity? Anyone know this answer? How did you just come across Montel Williams? Huh? Isn't that weird? Because the same way we could say, how did you just come across becoming, how did you just come across getting a degree? Or how did you just come across becoming a prosecutor? Who are you? Plant. Anywho. Um, and the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay. Of the earth. Now, this can mean soil, region, land, or world. My thought is, hey, this I can't I can't seem to pinpoint it at this moment, but I know from Obama to Kamala. All this, so why is all this stuff from India coming back up? Like Obama's mother was in India and he did school in India. Hey man, some off here. Some off here. And, and I ain't got nothing against the righteous of our brothers and sisters who's Indians from the Hindu, they call them Hindi people or Hindus or something. If I'm getting it wrong, forgive me. But uh, the way India is kind of shaped up, man, I think someone changed the geographical locations on the children of the Bible, meaning saying that all Africans are Ham, because if Africans are Ham, then who are the Indians? Because they be do some wild stuff there, and um, hey, every nation has its bad areas, but as a whole of a nation, it just don't look so hot. So uh, I'm gonna do some research in that because CERN, India, Obama ties to India, Kamala, India, Bill Gates, India, Israel loves India. I mean, all these celebrities go to India, and then they have the fallen. Um, they go to these caves in India uh, to get the spirits to talk to them. Something's not something's not adding up. You know, Africa is a beautiful place, and the people are beautiful too. And I'm not saying that there's not any Hindus that aren't beautiful, but I'm just not understanding how people call Africa a cursed nation when it is like the number one for all natural resources. I mean, the only reason it is the way it is because of what colonialism, technically, right? And then they place in these puppets who, um, you know, take money and push down their people, right? But I'm just kind of curious as how things is working in this world. I mean, every country got their backwards thinking, right? The United States give money to Ukraine and your people strung out on them streets. I've seen videos of um, Philadelphia and Chicago and San Fran and San Diego, and people strung out in them cities, in them big cities. You giving billions over to nations. I mean, every nation got it twisted at this point, but I don't know. Something's not right here. India is at the point of the worst thing, which is CERN. So, and I don't hear no Indians talking bad about it. We're gonna need to do some checking on who India is, because something this is bad, right? If all the powers that be put CERN in that Switzerland region, but they got the Indian god outside their headquarters, something is something off here. You just gotta know. But anywho, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. Yahweh, Yeshua, Savior. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Now, drunken. The woman, obviously, same as before. All right. Same as before. Okay. Drunken. I want you to think. Let's go and do some searching. Why don't you sit there and drink, right? Intoxicated, drenched, saturated, right? Now, I want you. Let's go into some of this, right? Intoxicate, to poison. I saw the woman drunken with the blood of saints. Now, if we look at this, it says excite to a high pitch of feeling, intoxication, poisoning, administration of poison. I want you to know, okay, that this person is obsessed with ruining the children of Israel's lives. This is what this means. They find high excitement in ruining someone's life. High excitement in ruining the men of the Most High and the daughters and the children of the Most High, because you arrest a man, if you come after the men of the Most High and they have families, which more than likely they do, you're hurting all of them. Right? So this word is more so not necessarily drunken, but more so obsessed. Obsessed. Look what it means, saturated, right? And what does this word mean? You guys know. Fullness. To be saturated is to be full. Like, you know, to satisfy, fill, full. Now it says, look what it says, to impregnate or unite with until no more can be received. In this sense, unite with until no more can be received. So she has an appetite for ruining lives. She has an appetite for who? The kindred of Christ. She has an appetite to hurt the men of the Most High's bloodline. I want you to sit there and think of that. It says she has an appetite of the blood of the saints. Brothers and sisters, she's coming after the sisters too, the children too. Look what it says. The blood of the saints. She's saturated. She gets happy, excited off of ruining the blameless and the religious people. Yes, this person is a devil, you guys. And with the blood of the martyrs, and that means she has no problem making you a martyr. She has no problem making you a martyr, and she doesn't care who sees it. She doesn't care who sees it at all. She doesn't care who sees it at all. What? One who bears testimony of faith. So we saw earlier she's going to bring about the what? The falling away. Look what it says, a martyr, one who suffers death. But see, being a martyr isn't just about suffering for death. It also means grievous loss in defense or on the behalf of any belief or cause. Okay? General sense, constant sufferer, a victim of misfortune, calamity, disease. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. So this individual is going to break the will of every single person who says they love the Most High in that country. I hope and pray you don't have to watch and see. And when I say this, remember this for those of you who live over there in Babylon. Compromise is the word. Compromise is the word. These spirits understand how serious the times are. And all it takes is for the Most High to see that you've compromised His love and His will, and you're finished. Because there is no time. And the angel said unto me, and when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath 7 heads and 10 horns. And those are nations, right? These nations are going to. The beast that sawest was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. Now we know that's with what? The son of perdition, right? And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, one which the woman sitteth. Now, I've done my fair research. Now, I've seen that different research says this mountain is Rome. Okay. I've also seen in text where some people say these 7 mountains are the 7 continents. All right. All in all, I would say this. As the world is shaping up for the war and all that stuff going on, and some parts of the world are already in war. If you are in American or European territory, remember where all these people are coming from? There's a lot of empty places. That's all I'm going to say. Right? If your nations are being overran by certain people, well, don't you think? Because this is the part where the carnal start to think carnal. Don't you think, oh, you know, gang members and cartel and all kinds of people and will go to your country and say, hey, if I can live for free and not work, I can still keep my business going. Hey, this boy just shot a police officer and he's walking free the next day. I can commit as much crime as I want. My business can bloom, right? So if they're all leaving, let's use an example to go to America. Well, wouldn't it be safer where they're coming from? Just a just a little thought. Just a little thought. And there are seven kings, five are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth, and is of the seventh, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So this is going to be a new makeup of countries. This is still those European nations. Okay, so what that means is Canada, the U.S., EU. That's why you see it. Their whole goal is what? Order out of chaos. With this person will come others in Europe. Okay, all right. Do you not see what's going on in the UK over there? And in Germany? In France? It's already beginning. It's already started. And when I tell you, right, and you have to think, right, this is, how could this be of the B system? You sit there and wonder, wait, look how bad these places have turned. And look, there, you seen, I seen a video the other day of the people swimming. I mean, swimming from Morocco into Spain. What, what is going on? That the Most High said this would be. And he's sending all the people who are so criminalistic and have evil intentions right into the nations that will be held by the beast. I hope you pay attention. And this was your sign. Hey, this is like a spiritual release here. Hey, Most High saying, uh, Most High and Satan, they're having this conversation. Okay, and so think of it like this: Satan saying, "Hey, Most High, I see you said 10 to a city. I see you're gathering. Obviously, I can't see who you're gathering. I can sort of feel who you may be gathering, but I can't necessarily see who it is, right? But let's say for every one person that you take, I'm going to bring in, let's say, 5,000. I'm going to bring in 5,000 criminals from each country. Is that okay? Hey, I hope you're paying attention to this because this is exactly how it's happening. The Most High. This is like a, how like the U.S. and like the espionage groups, they used to say, okay, we're doing a prisoner swap. Satan is holding hostage the Most High's people, and the Most High's like, hey, you want your sinful altogether? You can take them. I want mine. Pay attention because there's more nations that will be aligned with Babylon. Get out of those European places as well. Some people not going to listen to me. And then they're going to say, you know what? I love you, brothers and sisters, but some people will say, "Oh, well, I I should have listened to you." And hey, if you're in those European places and I hadn't told you to move around, as the Bible says, Second Ezra chapter 16:40, I don't know what to tell you. And it's not me being rude. It's like I'm not necessarily certain because the Most High tells the men of the Most High what to do, right? Like, and to share with the people before it happens, like everything that you see. Yeah. And some people are going to get distracted, and other people are going to talk to them and come to them when their time of opportunity comes about, and yada, yada, yada. And that's it. Well, it didn't cost you nothing just to do a little research or to look around and say, man, you know what? Ministry Shop, he ain't lying. What I got to lie for? What's the point? What's the point? I mean, what? But hey, it says, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So these European nations are doing what? They're coming together. All their nations are becoming like a Sodom and Gomorrah, just filth. These shall make war with the Lamb. Now, I want y'all to pay attention. It says the nations with the beast, not only Babylon, but the nations that support Babylon will make war all with the Lamb and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sittest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. See that? See? See? Come on. Come on. Different nations with ideology, militaries. The 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So they will be a part of the overthrow of Babylon, but they will also help Babylon. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, to agree and give her kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the great woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. And a lot of people are going to sit there and say, this is Rome. Yes, Rome is going to get some punishment. Yes, they are the authors of all of this filth, of that whole called, what you would say, Christianity, because that term came from Rome, because Abraham was not a Christian, neither was Enoch, neither was Noah. They all served the Most High. You see that? There was never a religion about one person, it was always about serving the Most High. You see? But anywho, yes, it can be Rome, but guess what? Babylon is that extension that does all the dirty work for Rome and the European nations and those people who are from Germany. All right. And to bring it all home, Revelations 11. It reads, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, rise, and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city they shall tread under foot 42 months. Now I want you to understand this. This is in the book of Revelations, the holy city. What are the Gentiles doing now? Now, it didn't say one nation, it said Gentiles. So that is those people claiming to be Jewish or the children of Israel, and that is those who are Arabs. They are the Gentile nations. In the holy city, they're having war. They are trotting down Jerusalem and the surrounding areas. It says this will be for 42 months. 42 months is 3.5 years, or 3 years and some change, which means from October 7th, 2023, we have now 2 years left until all of that is finished. Right? And it reads, I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of earth. And if any man will hurt them, notice now this is not Elijah and this is not Moses. Fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Now, why do I say it is not Elijah and Moses, as a lot of people think? Let's keep reading. These shall have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all the plagues as often as they will. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them, and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified, which is what? Rome. And they of the people and kindreds and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. They that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one another to one another. So it's going to be a celebration because they're killing people who serve and prophesy about the Most High. Because these 2 prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. Now, watch this. 2 prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. Now, I know that they've changed this, okay? It says two, both, twain, two. Here you can see it says 2 or 3 or some or a few. The number is more than 2. I'm letting you know that. All right. And prophets, people who are going to preach. Okay. These are these individuals. Now, I want you to understand this. Okay. Torture. Obviously, the men of the Most High will not torture someone. Right? Oops. Right. So I want you to I want to break this down, okay? Inflict torture on, put to torture, distress, vex with great misery, annoy, annoy. Torment means to annoy, okay? So they're going to look at the men of the Most High preaching as being annoying. They're going to look at correction as annoying. Okay, this is why it's good right now to fall in love with being corrected, because if not, you will eventually be one of those who celebrated when those who were in constant correcting. Okay, now also you would sit there and think, why would the Most High rise up Elijah and Moses just to die again for you to see it? That would be torment to them. This is not, I repeat, this is not those two. These are people in the office of those two. Okay. And this is also in Ezekiel. And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life, which is the Holy Spirit, from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was a great earthquake, and the tenth part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. And the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Now, also, I have some disputing with that last verse there, because this is coming with on the back end of another scripture, and yeah. But anywho, um, and I'm just saying it wouldn't necessarily be the second woe, right? I'm gonna show you how, right? Because here it goes right into the seventh angel, okay, and the seventh trump. So how do you get the second to the seventh, right? Showing you how they have definitely tampered with our scriptures and not put it in order. So that's why you have to keep reading and reading and reading to study to show thyself approved. Okay, brothers and sisters, let me see. You know, usually I don't do this, but I'll share this. Right. So I wanted to share the wilderness in these 42 months. Okay, you can see here the woman fled 1,203 days. It's literally the same thing, okay, as those. And it's going to happen kind of like simultaneously in some sense, okay, but not all at once. And then you see this is correlates to the book of Daniel as well, okay, in those days, all right. Um, and we sit there and think, Revelations 13, right? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him 40 and 2 months. That's 3.5 years, right? Brothers and sisters, my belief is that this is someone who never served the Most High. And you have to sit there and think about it. The anti-Christ will come from this third temple, so to speak, because they want to bring in their own antichrist when the Bible says everyone would see Christ come from the sky, right? But this individual, brothers and sisters, this individual, power, everything traces back to this individual of power, okay? And why also I put this individual here, because this was apparently what this God looks like, the God is known to be a man, but also was known to reincarnate as a woman. So um, that would make sense why they say also that this person was born a male, but is now a female. Right. Brothers and sisters, we are coming across some very, very tough times. Okay. Um, I really don't know any other way to put it. And, and, you know, I would just say it's going to get wild, especially for those European nations. Man, you guys, it's going to get wild. Um, Obviously, it was prophesied that everywhere would get wild, but um, this most certainly is going to be something that catches a lot of people off guard. And I just hope and pray that, for those of you who were a part of the ministry and, fervent listeners and studiers of the Word of the Most High, that my lessons were able to at least uh, be some level of foundation to help you get closer to the Most High, or put a little fire under your behind so you can see how serious this was. Um, and truly, if you ask me, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that 2030 is the end of the world, but I'm aware that 2030, um, 2030, they want to do quite a lot of things, right? But just remember prophecy, and the Most High is he knows that these people have tons of plans, but a lot of their plans don't go through because he is the man, right? He is in charge. So I would say, with all the distractions, and there will be more, just focus on your relationship with the Most High, Christ, the Holy Spirit, and then make sure your knowledge is good enough to understand prophecy to maneuver around the world, as 2 Ezra 16 and 40 says. Because if you haven't, you should be thinking, especially if you're in the Western Hemisphere, especially if you're in European regions, any uh, any European owned nations. Um, my, oh my. Okay. Um, Brothers and sisters, I pray that this was edifying and it was of some value and use to you all. If you have not, if you want to know more about the war and things, I will go right into the war on the true promise, which it's not for the weak. Okay. Um, but if you have watched it, I can't wait to go into the next lesson. All right. With that being said, brothers and sisters, I love you all. I pray that you are not deceived. I pray that you get strong with the Most High Christ and the Holy Spirit. And I pray that you make your election sure in these times. That being said, I love you all. Shalom.